Creating Slayer. I am eager to see how well you perform.
Alright, Kitty Squad. This is going to be a demonstrative example of one of the things that you can do to be a little more successful on KSColiSlayer. That will hopefully translate over to some other skills as well that we need to work on for strongholds and just general teamwork stuff. So, like we talked about in strongholds, right? We have a tendency to just jump on the objective and die, and to get really split up. And what I'm hoping I'll be able to show you in this video is some positive examples of how to, really get your teamwork going, to tag somebody up and leave them to be finished by a teammate, and to just pick a side and collapse on it, which allows you to keep the enemy team in front of you and to come back at them as a united front rather than just kind of sitting and waiting and getting picked off. You're also going to see some moments where we screw it up, where, picking that side and doing a better job of calling out who should do it would have made us more successful. So this is 343 Guilty Sparkles against me, Ace, Giggler, and Texan. Note that this will also give us a little preview of how Texan and Giggler play on KSColiSlayer. Since they're half of Hype Train, it'll be a nice little scouting report on them. And you get to see a little bit of what Ace does and what I do and how absolutely god-awful my shot is. So right off the bat, we're doing the standard strat. Kevin's going to help me. That's Texan. You'll notice, you can see right here that he's flashing a little bit. My grenade got leaded right to one shot. I should not have thrown the second grenade. I should have just taken my gun out and shot him. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss because I'm a dumbass and I haven't run this part of the strategy for a while. But I am still going to get my rocket launcher. I'm going to use it to back D-Man down. It turns out Texan already has that pretty much under control because Texan's about to kill him. I know Lee's one shot in trench. I hear Texan call out that he's there.
Red team gained the lead.
So I just blow him up with my rocket, make it easy. Now Ace is stuck in red base, fighting against two guys on snipe side. This is definitely unfavorable. Texan has followed me while Giggler has just respawned. But I need to reload these rockets. And if I'm able to get, as long as Ace is able to milk long enough and get help over there, he may be able to live. He probably will die. But I might be able to get my rocket launcher over there, kill their sniper, and set us up on the right side of the map. So sure enough, they get the snipe and finish off Ace with a body shot. With a headshot after the sniper body shot. I'm jumping up here. I heard someone smarter clambering, but I know that I don't want to get, tunnel vision on this guy, so I'm just going to check real quick. Watch. It's that quick. I've just checked that there's nobody on snipe ramp and nobody on S3, and I've still got lots of time to jump down here, use my height advantage to kill him. I jumped and thrusted onto the silver because I saw Andy coming, and I was like, oh shit, I can maintain my high ground advantage and shoot downward with my rocket launcher. So I take it out and blow him up. This sets up a 3-on-2 on the other side of the map where Texan, Giggler, and Ace have a massive advantage on these guys. They might start spawning behind us in blue. We'll see. They should probably have spawns near red elbow. So I'm just going to go back here because I don't exactly know where the other team is going to be, and I want to be in the fight getting damage. Unfortunately, we don't prioritize targets super well because we're not all used to playing with each other, so Texan and I just kind of wind up running into each other over here. We're both trying to kill Lee. Turns out Andy and Alex did spawn at blue elbow and went straight up top rockets, where they aren't really able to help their team too much. Except that Texan chases SV2 too far while he's too weak and gets destroyed. D-Man is also staying alive here because we didn't collapse on him. Texan and I both tried to pick the same guy, but it was the wrong guy. So again, that's the kind of natural teamwork that you just develop over time. Over here, I checked for the DMR and didn't get it. Got a little bit of damage on this guy top rocks. He's got some help. So right now, we're split. They've got one guy in red base that we could collapse on, and one guy in blue base that we could collapse on, and one guy top rockets. We should be picking one of these to devote multiple people to go and try and kill. And fuck the guy in top rockets. We don't need to deal with him while we're getting shot at from two different sides. Unfortunately, we're going to kind of sit and wind up getting picked. We're able to stay alive and scrap, so it isn't a complete loss, but look at those terrible shots, my goodness. But we end up kind of losing because 3 people of ours go down. We get like 2 kills out of it. I expect they're going to be pushing from this side. I don't want to get shot in the back by Andy, so I could run out trench. But I decide if I get in here, tuck away, and get the stick, I can trade and maybe get some damage and set something up over here. So I drop the grenade there to try and get anybody who's chasing through maze. I know there's 2 guys up here, and I know my help is coming from blue base. So what I'm going to do is try and get the S2 guys as weak as possible so that they go down real quick when our guys get shots on them. And then if D-Man decides to chase through maze, he's less of a threat to them than if Andy is aware and is actually shooting at them as they come through blue. So I go up here and I die, but this makes it easier for Texan to get those kills, and Fawn and Smarter die because they're devoting attention to me rather than to something else. And you notice, when we spawned up, we didn't send anybody rockets because that's bullshit. Those flanks never work, or rarely work, and it's not complete bullshit, I realize, with 20 seconds coming after the rocket. There are lots of situations where you want to go with rockets, but we had more success here because we just flooded everybody on this side. Now that we have 3 people set up over there, I'm going to go towards the window, just make sure that I'm ruling out people on this side of the map and keeping them away so that we can continue fighting with a numbers advantage on that side. Once you have 4 people, they tend to just get in each other's way. So here, I checked oven. That's what I'm looking at right now, is for anybody over there. Managed to get 1 shot on D-Man before he backs down. Ace, despite being 1 shot, is going to challenge over there, and he's going to get a triple kill because we're just absolutely demolishing them right now. You didn't see the first one, but you know, 3 kills to 1 death right now is a real good setup. We're now going to have 3 people also collapsing on these next 2. So this is like a 5-to-1 trade. So we've collapsed on this. We've got red totally clear. They're spawning up on blue side, and they're going towards the rockets. Ideally, we get some good damage on them and back them off. Unfortunately, we don't quite get that as successfully as we meant to. So our communication here is a little bit off, but we're doing roughly the right thing. Giggler and I are backing people down at the window. We're worried that someone might be coming elbow because we can't really see them. But what we should be trying to do right now is get as many people snipe side as possible and get them all as high as possible, because that's going to make it harder for their rocket to do anything. Like, if I stay at window, keep getting shots, just keep trying to distract people and keep them off of snipe side for as long as possible, and we get 3 people over to snipe side, we can collapse on them. You know, their rocket guy is gonna be stuck in cave or like on the flag or something. Or I'm going to be able to shoot him as he runs along window, and then someone S3 is going to be able to finish him off, rather than us getting stuck in the base, down low. Ace is doing a good job up here on pyramid. But if we're down low, it's easier for them to shoot a rocket downward at us than it is for them to shoot a rocket upward at us. So we're taking some damage. Andy's trying to flank around. Texan is getting the right idea and going towards Ace, but he's not looking over here, so he's not going to see Andy. Andy does a good job. If you're going to be flanking somebody, you don't want to just give yourself away at the first sign. But we've got our foothold on snipe side. I start worrying about the guy elbow and looking over there a little bit late. I thought maybe Texan would have checked and seen Andy there, so he's actually going to sneak up behind Gigs. But we're still able to, even just with 2 guys, do a good job of baiting and switching over here, while 343 Guilty Sparkles, despite having a numbers advantage, isn't really doing a whole lot to collapse on this. They've got 1 kill, but now we've traded 1. And considering that they have the rockets, I mean 1-1 is going to be, let's see, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. 3-2 and no snipe control is not really the best series of trades that they could have had, considering that they had the rockets. They missed an opportunity to flood us, while we also were way too slow to just get up together and challenge. They've got rockets at S3 now. But again, we go at them, we challenge them, and the circuitous flank from Alex and Lee has taken them out of the play while we were all fighting on this side. So here, I've pulled the rockets. We make a bit of a unfortunate mistake in not knowing that blue side was completely clear. We had enough people around that we might have been able to see them going across top rocks. They're still in the base. Ideally, what we do is we send 2 people to confirm the blue base is empty. I should not be going across this window here because I can get pegged from the other side of the map. With Ace covering with the sniper, if he's looking back at red, that I can probably get away with it easier. But overall, I probably shouldn't be exposing myself here. Even if there are 2 people here, you know, if we don't know where Alex or Lee went, so we think, hey, maybe they're in blue base. Texan and I can go and get that together because with the rocket, we have a functional advantage that isn't really worth sending the third person Gigs when Gigs can be watching Ace's back with his sniper. So we clear this, realize that it's, you know, that it's not where the play is at. So I'm going to go back here and just try and deal with anybody who might challenge Ace where he's sitting on S3. I'm able to push him back, and because I'm worried about D-Man also, I'm listening for him, I hear him shooting, and just soar right over this with my rocket and blow him up. Unfortunately, we didn't have quite the right wedge that we needed over there, so Texan dies and Giggler dies, kind of in weird different spots, but Ace is able to get away with the sniper. This could have been worse for us. And we're up by 6. Here, eventually Ace dies. It probably would have been better for me to rotate back with the rocket launcher over here on this side, where I could defend Ace, but where we really put ourselves in a bad position was just not arraying ourselves properly as Texan and I cleared blue. But these trades have still been okay. I managed to get some damage on Alex. I made a mistake here in over-challenging the second shot. I could have weakened D-Man and just thrust it back into Oven with help coming over the top from Texan. But he's going to clean this one up, and Alex is super weak over there. So if, you know, I don't know if my callouts were bad or if we just missed him somehow. But we're kind of missing him, but we would have had an opportunity to kill him here. And then again, they've sent Ace up, or SVT up there to pull rockets, while also having Alex still just like hiding over here where he can't really help. That means that we take SVT down because Texan gets him for free, and Alex continues just trying to sneak everywhere. He jumps up and even gets a surprise on our window, but again is forced to back down into trench. Texan, on the other hand, unfortunately, is kind of missing these callouts, but rotates back. And you can see Giggs rotated himself out to rockets for no reason, and ended up dying. But here again, we've got our united front again. They're trying to sneak around us. We know that they were trying to sneak around us because they killed Giggs a little while ago. But look, he's already respawned. It's still taking them time to get around here. And we're fighting 4-on-2 over here. So we should be able to collapse on this. Unfortunately, what happens is we get distracted by the guys on the backside. I don't think Texan called to collapse on this. It's no big deal. I called the collapse on red once I heard the Giggler was getting shot over here. And we rotated back on these guys.
Red team halfway to...
So we lose Texan, but we do get to rotate Ace in here, and we win this trade overall. Because we've got 3 people now, they've got 2. And we're coming across the map at them again. Getting a little bit of damage on somebody, getting S3, working over to cave. Again, it's about the precision and the efficiency of these routes, that it's not like, oh, I'm a DMR, I'm going to run all the way the fuck around to Pyramid. We're just going to run straight up to S3, straight over here. I'm over-challenging Andy right now because he has the sniper. That's the only reason I chased him. I probably shouldn't have reloaded there or would have been able to get more damage, but again, we're getting in here and we're going to win these trades eventually and get the power weapons. Their long flank from red base comes on too late, Andy comes over here, gets melted. Lee's now alone. Again, he's going to get melted because they're challenging 2-on-4. Looking over here, I probably could have shot smarter right away, but what I did was rule out this side of the map and not really take any damage in the process. Now I kind of know where they are. Unfortunately, we get a little bit of miscommunication again. Texan is sniping S3 while I'm trying to look at S3 instead of sniping the window while I'm looking S3. But that's the intricacies of teamwork that we're not really at yet. So Ace is over here alone, but he's going to stay alive really well. And again, we're just going to start flooding this shit and melting people.
Blue team halfway.
So they're all playing cautiously. I make the mistake of flanking here, so Kevin actually gets melted by a couple guys. But again, we're playing faster than they are, and we're responding to our call-outs better than they are. And at the end of all of these exchanges, it's one of us who's left standing, and them who are spawning on the other side and trying to soar out to the other part of the map. Here again, they split up. You know, multiple guys go in this side, but all taking weak positions instead of flowing across together as a unit. Because Alex is way the fuck back in cave where he can't help anybody. Lee's on the sniper ramp where he can get naded. And Andy is in grass where he can get destroyed. D-Man is the only person pushing out to rockets. They have no support from S3 or window, which means we're going to be able to contest these rockets really, really easily. So here you see, that might not look like much, but what I did there was avoid getting meleeed by Andy. He was weak enough that all I had to do was shoot him twice, drop down. Giggler had him easily. We have got numbers. D-Man may have pulled the rockets, but we're going to be able to melt him if we want to. Alex is alone here on S3. We can get him. I've only just seen him on radar, or he's only just appeared on radar. I think Theater is messing with it too. Try and pull the carbine. You can see my terrible windy shots, but again, because we're 2-on-1, it doesn't really matter. We're able to collapse on this guy. D-Man is rotated back to blue. Lee is running through trench for no reason. And they're a mess while we're picking things to fight for together. Here you can see him just being as much of a nuisance as possible. And help comes. This is what's great about, you know, what our team managed to do this time. Ace and Giggs should probably be getting over here a little bit faster. Ace has the sniper, so he's actually helping right now. He's keeping them out of the fridge, which has made it easier for me to stay alive, as it turns out. Giggs should be getting over here a little bit quicker, but overall, we're keeping these guys back down, and our health is showing up faster, and we're finishing these kills. You know, we're getting these assists and finish these kills off, and collapsing on these, and just winning out on trades. Overall here, this was like a 4-for-1, which I will take any day of the week.
Remaining 5 minutes.
Might have been 3, because I think D-Man might have slipped the net, but again, D-Man slipped the net, but he didn't slip it into a place where he could kill us. He slipped it into a place where he could wind up stuck in a base, and Ace could rotate out on him. Now it's 45-28, I'm like, fuck it, charge because we can't lose. Again, we're going to challenge as a team here.
Final shot.
They managed to get away with a little something there, and they do kill Ace down bottom because we were challenging because we can't lose. But notice it's 47-31. We really can't lose. Unfortunately, I get myself meleeed in the back because I'm an idiot. I'm bad. Don't learn from me. Or learn from me, but don't learn to be like me. But again here, like, see how I recognize that we've got people over here who can shoot at S3. I'm going to try and get around S3. It turns out they're actually able to get some damage on me, but the way that they play, because they never expect help, because they never get help, is that Andy drops there. Because he's worried that he's going to immediately get melted by everybody shooting at this area after I get a melee on him, because our team is actually engaging in teamwork. And instead of going and melting these guys on the snipe side or something with Alex is stuck up there alone while 2 people are in grass. They're all trying to play sneaky at the same time. So what I'm going to do is just back off a little bit. I realize that there's nothing stopping me from going S3 right now because, again, I've got teammates who are totally on top of it. So I just sprint up here, thrust, and bam!
Next kill wins.
Free kills, straight up. So what you can see here is the difference in this game was made by the fact that our trades were just that little bit better because we were that much better about responding to callouts, and everybody was playing confident, especially near the middle and the end of the game, rather than, you know, getting popped and dropping down and always trying to sneak and everything. We just played conventionally, moved across the snipe side really well, and collapsed on bases. And that was where we were able to get trades, that was where we were able to get power weapons. And what their team wasn't able to do was, you know, pick a side to go to and to collapse on. They always spread themselves out and made themselves into easy targets if we picked to collapse on something. If we were slow, you know, those times where we got ourselves stuck on the same side and split with them or split against them, we ended up dying or, you know, trading out or whatever. But when we picked a single side, we were able to, you know, finish that one off, keep them in front of us, and give ourselves a better chance for the next round. So yeah, guys, hopefully you can kind of see here how using the high ground to get your slays is critical, and how those long circuitous routes made it much easier for our team to, you know, take direct routes to get to them and to get help in, while their team was just going around the map, taking fucking forever to like run over rockets and around the elbow and around the base and all the way around to shoot someone in the back at the snipe ramp, instead of just, you know, coming straight, like looking window to S3, going over the top and immediately having pressure on people.
The game has concluded. Red team is victorious.
So you can see in the slays, Kitty, I don't want to say Kitty Squad, half of Hype Train, half of Kitty Squad with Coach, was very even. 14-6 and 7, 12-12 and 7, 12-7 and 7, 12-4 and 12. Very, very across the board even performance. While their team, 12-6 and 12, then 8-4 and 10. Those are similar. 7-5 and 11, not so good. 6-2 and 17, real neg bomb. And that was because, you know, certain people were putting themselves in positions to clean up kills and get help, and some were just trying to get those flanks and were always just, you know, 3 steps too late to the party and were getting blown up when they were down numerically. The other thing you'll notice is that we had about 12 more assists after winning a game by 17. That's, you know, the vast majority of our win was attributable to those assisted kills. We were able to back down, you know, a fair amount of times and stay alive when we needed to, because whenever one person was down low, another person was always up, being the lightning rod, kind of keeping them stuck in no man's land, keeping them trapped in their base, keeping them from getting up onto us and getting onto the pyramid. How this is applicable to strongholds, guys, is that we tend to drop down and take weak positions. We tend to get trapped in one place too long. We tend to flank from too far away. We've got to be taking those direct routes where we're going to be really putting it on the other team and focusing on slaying out, getting a spawn, and keeping them all in front of us, in the same way that we were able to sometimes, you know, collapse on the space, finish all these kills, and just immediately come back at them right at snipe side before they were able to spawn up. We're using those 8 seconds after we finish our round of slays to come up and have a functional numbers advantage on the guys who have just respawned. Before their teammates come back, we're able to get our positioning on them and collapse. So hopefully this will be useful. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to make fun of my shooting. I think it's entirely appropriate. And keep in mind, guys, that Hype Train, you'll probably see Texan and Giggler having pretty good teamwork like this, making calls about where to push and, you know, collapse on stuff together. Vinz is probably going to be orienting them to the objective really, really well. So while I do believe that we are stronger than they are in terms of most of the mechanical stuff and, you know, in terms of having been a team longer, I think we're definitely not going to be able to take them lightly. We're going to have to really be on our rotations, and you know, when we aren't, at the very least, we need to have the teamwork to just slay the shit out of them and not wind up dying spontaneously on our own. We're also playing this game type, so for this game type, I'm not saying we shouldn't do our setup. Our setup is great, and we're really good at it. I just want to make sure that something like this is also in our toolbox, so that when we don't have weapons, when we don't have snipe side control, you know, when shit just isn't going our way, or even just if we're not able to hit the snipes, if they're good at evading the snipes and not getting sniped on the window or the elbow or the fridge, if they're making their way through those safely, we're going to need to know how to do this kind of rotation-based run at them and collapse and challenge as a four-man team kind of thing, rather than getting split up and having someone sneaking off by themselves and getting blown up. So yeah, like I said, keep this in our toolbox. Try and get better at this because I already know that we can set up well, and we'll be able to do this, you know, on the 3 or 4 times where our setup starts to get wonky. We'll be able to just pick something, fly at it, clear it out, and then get back to running our setup. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this will be useful enough to put on YouTube, and you guys will love me forever for it. See ya.